It is my pleasure to introduce today's moderator, Ms. Himani Bakshi. Ms. Himani Bakshi is an educator whose teaching philosophy goes beyond traditional instruction. With her master's in literature from Lady Shri Ram College, Delhi University, she brings a deep academic foundation to her role as a senior secondary English teacher at Modern School, Barakamba Road. Her approach is centered on experiential learning, ensuring students engage with literature in meaningful ways. She fosters an environment where young minds think critically, feel deeply, and express themselves authentically, making literature a transformative experience rather than just a subject to study. Her passion extends beyond the pages of a book. She nurtures empathy and thoughtfulness, believing in the power of language to shape individuals who are not only academically strong but also emotionally and socially aware. Hearty welcome, Ms. Himani. Please proceed. The stage is yours.
Salam, sir. Shall I begin?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. It is my honor to serve as your moderator for today's impactful session on building a smarter approach to math. Good evening, everyone. As we come together this evening, an evening symbolic of mid-year reflection and renewal, it's the perfect time to revisit our teaching methodologies, especially in mathematics. Today's session will focus on creating smarter, more relevant, and student-centric approaches that make mathematics both meaningful and enjoyable. In the words of John Dewey, education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. Our discussion today resonates beautifully with this thought, reminding us that our strategies in teaching math must help students live and thrive, not just pass exams. On behalf of Extra Mile Education and Training, I extend a heartfelt welcome to each one of you, educators committed to staying ahead, innovating and evolving. Extra Mile, under the visionary leadership of Dr. Abdul Salam and a proud initiative of Bharat Transformers and Academic Group, BTAC for short, is known for delivering exceptional customized professional development programs, both online and offline across India. A warm thank you to Dr. Salam and Extra Mile team for giving me this opportunity to moderate today's session. Before we move ahead, a few simple guidelines to ensure a smooth session. Please type your queries in the chat box during the session. If you wish to ask something live, kindly use the raise hand feature and wait to be invited. To access your certificate, visit www.btag.in, or you may access the link that will be posted at the end of the session in the meeting chat box. Let's begin our session by hearing from the visionaries behind this learning initiative. First, I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Abdul Salam, the founder and CEO of Bharat Transformers and Academic Group and Extra Mile Education and Training. He is a distinguished CBSE resource person and master trainer, and also serves as an assessor for the National Accreditation Board for Education and Training under the Government of India. His tireless efforts in the educator empowerment continue to transform classrooms across the country. On behalf of all the participants, I now invite Dr. Salam to address us.
Thank you, Ms. Himani. Good evening, respected resource person Beena Prakash and Biju sir and all the participants. Thank you for joining and hearty welcome to Extra Mile Education and Training. Am I audible, Himani ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, Himani ma'am was saying, education is life itself. I do agree. And I would like to say that maths is life itself. Right. And we are fortunate to have Ms. Beena Prakash with us, who is a very experienced mathematician, has been teaching, a lot of years in Madhya Pradesh and has served NCERT also and was instrumental in content writing for mathematics NCERT textbook. I believe it is for grade 6, right, ma'am?
That it was 6 and 7.
6 and 7. So we are actually very privileged to have Madam on board, Extra Mile platform, and all it makes a difference actually, in terms of teaching, that how the teacher is transacting in the classroom. Maths is same everywhere, but the methodology matters. So we will come to know a lot about the different methods we can adopt in the classroom by Ms. Beena Prakash. Let's lend our ears to her and enjoy the session and implement them in the classroom as well. Thank you so much. Over to Himani. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Salam, for your encouragement and your steadfast commitment to the educational excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also privileged to have with us Mr. Biju S. Pillai, sir, a veteran educator with decades of leadership in the school education space. He is currently serving as the principal of Sri Chitra Public School, Trivandrum, and is also the co-director of Extra Mile Education and Training. With a proven track record of successfully leading reputed CBSE schools, his contribution to educational innovation and teacher development is immense. It is an honor to have you with us today, sir. I now invite Mr. Biju, sir, to share his thoughts with the gathering.
Thank you, Himani ma'am. Most respected Program Director, Dr. Abdul Salam, sir. Today's resource person, Beena Prakash ma'am, and all other educators, especially Max educators in the platform of BTAG Extra Mile. Today, as usual, we have come with this very good topic, a smarter approach to Max. So a smarter approach to Max empowers the students to think critically, solve problems confidently, and enjoy the learning. That is actually what we want. So preparing for that, let us make the circumstances in the classroom in such a way that this confidence, when we shift the focus from memorization to understanding, then Max will become not just easier, but also more meaningful. As our directors are told, Max itself is a life. Throughout the life, it's a journey where Max is very important. So prior to understanding, Max should become more easier when it becomes meaningful. So they should understand and learn Max so that it will be very helpful for them and they will enjoy the classroom also. Thank you. Let's listen to Beena ma'am's class so that we'll gain more knowledge. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Back to Himani ma'am.
Thank you, Biju, sir, for your inspiring insights and practical wisdom. Now, it is my proud privilege to introduce our highly accomplished resource person, Dr. Beena Prakash, Senior PGT Mathematics. Her contribution to the field of mathematics education are both deep and diverse. Some highlights include member NCERT Textbook Development Team for Class 6 and 7, contributor NCERT Learning Objectives for Secondary Schools, member NAS Learning Outcomes Development Team, active member AIMTA and DAMT, trainer under PM eVidya for live online and offline sessions for class 7, 8, 9, 11 and 12, certified GeoGebra trainer conducting regular workshops for teachers. Dr. Prakash has also received the Best Teacher Award by NCTS Junagadh on January 2024. Her open educational resource was selected by CEMCA from among 174 entries, and she has presented her research at NERIE Shillong. With her rich blend of classroom experience, curriculum development, and training expertise, we are indeed fortunate to have her lead us through today's session on building a smarter approach to math aligned with the National Education Policy 2020. Dear participants, let's now begin our learning journey. I warmly invite Dr. Prakash to take the session forward. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Now, before I go ahead, let me make a small correction. Sir, I'm not a mathematician. I'm just a mathematics teacher. I would like to encourage children and as well as teachers, but I'm not a mathematician.
Okay.
So that's I try my best to do the best for the society. Let's see how it has helped that only God has the proof. I don't have any proof for it. Anyway, let's start the day. So as you all said, learning is life, life is learning. Man, and sir, you said maths is life. So I have this acronym for maths. Maths allow things happen. So definitely maths is life, isn't it? So let's start the day. Good evening to all the educators present. And thank you to everyone to be present also. As teachers, especially the maths teachers, don't we think we have an incredible responsibility and also has a unique opportunity to shape not just how our students are learning, but how they feel while they learn. So today we are not just going to talk about mathematics or how to solve questions and all. We will be talking about the mindsets, about the emotions, and how we can ignite them so that the little spark that ignites them makes them say, I can do it. I will do it. So that spark we need to ignite. As the title says, building a smarter approach to teach maths. I've taken a subtitle in it, Igniting Mathematics Mind. I have tried to choose the words that taken in this very carefully because as you all have said, mathematics is life. It is not just numbers or formulae. It is about thinking. It is about sensing the things around the world. It is about building confidence, curiosity that will definitely last lifetime. But the question is, how do we get there? Especially when we all know many of our students, sometimes even the brightest one, come to our class with a fear, hesitation, or a belief that they are not good in maths. So through this session, we'll try to reflect on what needs to change. Definitely not the curriculum, but the approach. I've tried to take up certain strategies from the classroom only, so that we can turn up all those formulas into fascinations and the hesitant learner turns into a confident explorer. Shall we go ahead? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, before we go ahead,
can you make it in the slideshow mode?
I have little problem in this. Just a minute. It's a little problematic for me because my laptop is now not supporting. As I am getting older, my laptop has also grown older. It's not clear, sir.
It's clear only.
So things are not that clear to me. So I don't want to touch the system as such. It has been set for me. So I'm continuing with that set.
Yeah, please.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
if I can just suggest something, there is this little window on the there's a
I
little
know.
Yeah.
I know. I don't want to take any risk right now.
Okay, perfect.
I need some few more days to change my laptop. I'm waiting
Perfect.
for big offer that is going to come so that I can change the system, because it has been with me for the last 6 to 7 years. So it crashed in the morning. I really was panicking since morning because it took really the whole day to get it back. So I don't want to take.
Ma'am, it is quite clear. No worries, ma'am.
I don't want to take any risk now. Now, anyway, now teachers, educators, just think of the student who had the fear of mathematics, but your interventions proved that he actually changed the perception of the child. Do you remember any such incident which has changed or helped to change the children in your class? If yes, think of that child all through. That will definitely make things change. Okay? Now, why do we need? What is the current math landscape? Let me again ask this question. Don't you ask this question to your children? What comes to your mind when I say the word mathematics, or when they hear the word mathematics? Yes, I just want some response from the class. What is the word associated with the word when they hear the word mathematics? The students or anybody except for we maths teachers. What very frequently we hear from everyone. I think it is same word, fear, anxiety, isn't it? Very few has this fascination or readiness towards this. These are not the uncommon words. They are very common words among the students or the learn who do not have much approach to the math. It is really very scary. Many students, they associate maths with fear, anxiety, and frustration. This mindset forms due to why do we think that it is formed? Why do we get this fear and anxiety and frustration? What is the reason? Isn't it because of the rote teaching method that is there in the school, or the poor conceptual understanding, the lack of relevance? Are these not the facts that is responsible for the anxiety or the fear and all? Even we have seen that the maths anxiety, just a minute, I got it, I'm sorry. These are, just a minute, I'll just put them, sorry. Now, where was I? Yes, the anxiety, the mathematical anxiety is actually real. What effect does it have in our class? Tell me, what effect does it have in our class? Doesn't it affect the performance of the child because of the anxiety? The decision making, many of them, they change their career because of the anxiety or the fear that they have in maths. So we need to work on it. We know that fears can be overcome. We can overcome fears, no? So can confidence be cultivated? So through this, we are trying to cultivate confidence in our children so that they are fear-free, anxiety-free in the class, and they'll be a better learner for the lifetime. Now, I'll just ask again to the teachers. The teachers who joined, are I supposed to be my mathematics teacher? Why they have taken up this profession? Just try to recollect, go back to your school days. see the experience that you had with mathematics when you were growing up. What experiences you might have had? Most of us may not have had that fear or anxiety. That's the reason why we are here as a mathematics teacher. Sir, is my video there? Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
It's visible.
Slide
It's
two is
gone from here. It's gone from this side. So
But
if
ma'am,
anything happens,
it is stuck on fear and anxiety wala slide.
yes, I'm still there only. I've
Bas
not
theek hai,
changed the
haan,
slides.
it's there.
I've not
It's
changed
there.
the slide. I'm still there only. So that we need to change this behavior of every person around us, not just who are learning mathematics, but people around us. That's the challenge that we need to take up. That's the thing why maths learning needs a reboot. We have seen that fear and anxiety often defines can you see the next slide? Hello, can you see the next?
Yes, ma'am, visible, ma'am.
It's visible, no?
Yeah.
Now, why maths learning needs a reboot? Traditional teaching methods often prioritize rote memorization over true understanding, leading to fear of mathematics. This is one very important information that I have understood, because of which we need to reboot so that learning takes place. We need to foster critical thinking and problem-solving skills for a brighter future. That's the biggest challenge, the way mathematics is taught in our school, the traditional way. In many of the classrooms, we actually depend upon the speed and the accuracy. The classroom, that means we depended on how fast a question can be done rather than how they had to be taken up. We just train the children to do the questions and the steps that has been taught in the class with the speed as well as accuracy. Means here accuracy stands for what they have learned. For that particular question, they are able to deliver it in the same way. Exactly the same steps are to be taken up. That's not the way. We need to come and make them understand from where we have got those formulae and why we are using that and how it can be used for that. So please try to understand, dear teachers, the traditional way of teaching. It actually focuses on one particular type, that is how you can best copy the things and deliver it the way the teacher has been taken up, which in fact says that formula cramming is actually replacing the conceptual clarity. So we need to know that the child can learn better if they are taught how to take up the things. So we have to handle the situation. We need, okay, here also, that's approach or methodology often lack connections to practical. This is also a reason why we have those aspects, that is anxiety and all, because the approach methodology often lacks connection to the practical everyday scenarios, making maths seem irrelevant. Inconsistent learning outcome, variation in teaching quality leads to disparity in students' performance, foundational. They are not connected to actually real life situations. The lack of differentiated instruction. Here what we see, as I said, the main purpose is note down the formula that has been discussed in the class, note down the step that has been discussed in the class. And this is how it is preferred. That is, the teacher speaks, writes, Teacher speaks as well, writes something on the board. The students are at the same time copying. Then finally the exam happens. They deliver whatever content they have learned. After the exam, maths forgotten. We need to change this cycle. What I insist in my class is teacher speaks. That is, when I speak, I make my students listen and see. These are the two aspects that I really focus on, these two aspects. That is, when I start speaking something for the subject, I make sure that the children, they see and hear what I say. Because we need to understand the language of mathematics. There are so many representations. So we usually, when you see 3, the plus sign, 3 plus 5, we say it as 3 plus 5 only. That's the thing that is creating a gap. We should never say it as 3 plus. Plus is the sign that is we have. That is a representation for the language, that is 3 added to 5 or 3 more than 5. So what we need to say is 3 added to 5 or 3 more than 5. But when you write on the board, we don't write 3 add that. We don't write it in the form of a language. We write it in the symbol form. There's a symbol, that's a representation. So when the teacher speaks, the children needs to be attentive to know what is said and what is written, so that they are connecting the two things. And then the teacher should give sufficient time for the students to copy. And when they copy also, make sure that the child copies after going through whatever has been written on the board, so that the child understands what he's writing. If that is the way, exam will happen. Maths will not be forgotten. They will always remember it throughout their life. And I have experienced it in my class from the very beginning. I always made it important that the children of my class never writes anything when I start explaining things in the class. So that's how we need to change the pattern of teaching. Let's take it as a challenge, or let's take it as an opportunity. Let's not just deliver the content. Make ourselves a facilitator. So that was the reason why we needed to reboot our maths classroom. Not by changing the syllabus or taking out things from the syllabus, but by changing our approach. Now, again, another thing that I would like to ask, as a maths teacher, we have done so many topics in our school days. Reflect back. Don't you remember the situation when you had the questions of the type, a train leaves one place, like if it's leaving Bhopal at 8 p.m. today with this speed. So how did we handle those questions? That time when we got this question, did we not discuss why should we care where the train is going and all? That was because it has been taken up. So we have to bring a real life situation to make things understand. That should be the objective of a transformed maths class. What should our students gain in our class? They should rediscover joy and wonder in class. They should develop critical and problem-solving skills, make connections to everyday life, become confident in expressing maths ideas, reduce fear of failure or judgment. We talked about the challenges. Now let's shift our focus on our possibilities. What all things we can take up. Let's first help our students to rediscover joy. Joy of identifying the patterns around them. Joy of relating things around them to mathematics. Joy of connecting things with logic, and seeing the world through mathematical lens. That should be our gain. That will be our gain. So now, the next problem that we have is they should be able to solve problems, life skills. The problems that they have, the problem solving skills help them to take up real life situations. Thus, they will be developing the skills that is needed to face the real world. Later on, whatever they can become, let them become. But these problem solving techniques will definitely help them to question or take up the approaches to break down all those complex steps into simpler ones, and thus taking their own ways to solve. That is, they find their own ways to find the solution. This will make student confident. They will be able to express mathematical ideas that will help them to articulate what they are thinking, to explain. They will be able to explain their process. They will not just, that will not just help in reinforcing their own understanding, but will help in another very important skill, that is communication skills. So all these facts can be taken up if they are able to take up this. That is, they are able to critically analyze the questions, break down, analyze it, and then they are able to synthesize it to create the solutions. The signs of joyful learning. The brain loves joy. So should maths class. The maths class will also love. So positive emotion boosts memory retention and conceptual understanding. Positive emotions, they reduce cognitive load. Stress shuts down analytical thinking. Joy opens it up. Happy learners are more curious and persistent. Joy connects to deeper understanding and retention. Now, do you think your student, any student of yours who has seen some movie or something they come across 2 months back or 3 months back, they'll be able to forget it? But do you think that they will remember the question or the formula that has been discussed a day before? What could be the reason why they are able to remember the story of a movie they have seen some days back and they are not able to recollect the formula or the question they have done a day before? What could be the reason? Don't you think there's a signs of joyful learning in this? So when the students, they feel joy, their brains become more alert. They become more engaged and they are more receptive to the new informations. The positive emotions don't just feel good, they actually strengthen memory and deepen their understanding. So let's make the classroom more enjoyable. Let's have fun in the class and don't be guilty of making the class too fun. I'm telling you, don't be guilty. Give that freedom to a child to express their feeling. Definitely, discipline part needs to be taken care. Fine. As we also see, it's not necessary in the maths lab. We also carry certain good memories with us. How are those memories connected? How have we retained those memories? which happened many years back or many days back. It is all connected to our emotions. So it stays with us if we have certain good things connected to it. Let's take up the pillars of smart learning. For me, I have taken up these two as the pillars. One is the practical application. The other one is the joyful concept understanding. Conceptual understanding and the practical application. Now we have seen how joy is actually a foundation for learning. Then for conceptual understanding and practical application, these will be the pillars to help them to grow. Conceptual understanding, like if I ask, we all have, that is, most of the students in the 9th class, they have all studied the number systems from the very beginning. But things become little complicated when they reach 9th class. There they have studied about numbers as rational numbers and irrational numbers. We have very often struggled with rational and irrational because children are not able to comprehend. What made me say this word comprehend the rational and irrational numbers? Can anybody explain this fact? How is it that the children are not able to analyze what is rational numbers and irrational numbers? Where we know that rational numbers are numbers which can be represented in the decimals. It can be a terminating or non-terminating, but it can be represented as decimals. If it is non-terminating, then it is actually recurring. For irrational numbers, it cannot be expressed in the form of P upon Q. It is expressed only in the form of a decimal. And this decimal is also the decimal which is non-terminating and non-recurring. So should we not take up that responsibility of making them understand what exactly rational numbers and irrational numbers are? Yes? How this term pi has come in. What is the role of pi? Why do we say pi as irrational number? Hasn't we got the question from the class? That is, do our students not ask this question? When pi is an irrational number, and when you're given a question, they're getting a question on finding, suppose, the circumference of a circle, the information given is the radius of the circle is 7 units. Assume that the radius of the circle is 7 units. And you give the information that the value of pi is 22 upon 7. Why? What does it mean? The value of pi, you're saying it's 22 upon 7. What is 22 upon 7? 22 upon 7 is a rational number. Pi is an irrational number. So what you're making them understand is you can have irrational numbers as rational numbers sometimes. So there is always going to be a gap in learning if this concept is not made to understand that very moment. So make sure that you understand, you make the children understand the difference between pi and the value taken for 22 upon 7. Now, if the students, they really understand why, they can always apply this knowledge to any problem that they come across. It's not necessary that they have seen it. They can always approach it. So that's the thing that we need to make the conceptual clarity in it. The why part. I suppose I have made it very clear the why part of this conceptual understanding. That is, very often for calculation purpose, we tell the students to have the value of pi as either 22 upon 7 or 3.14. Both represents rational numbers. Whereas we have made it very clear to the children that pi is not a rational number. So this part has to be made clear. The next one is the practical application. It has to be connected to the real world scenarios to make learning relevant, engaging, and then it's demonstrating its utility in everyday life. If these applications are taken up, they will always love, there will be joy in the class. So these two pillars, the conceptual understanding and the practical application, are the ones which will connect to the real world and make maths come alive in our classes. So now the question is how? Yes. The question is how? How can we make this happen in our class? Concept reinforcement. This is very, very important. Explore innovative teaching techniques. Understand the psychology of math learning. Develop strategies for active engagement, that is activity-based learning. Learn to foster a positive mindset. And then finally, differentiated instructions. Now, so far, what we have discussed? We have discussed what is to be built in. Now comes the real question. How? How can we bring that joy? How can we connect the real life situation to make understanding deep so that in the classroom we are not racing against the time or syllabus completion. We are into making them understand the language of mathematics, how it has to be interpreted, and how it has to be represented. That's the most important thing. The concept of reinforcement. Revisit core mathematical concept with the focus on their underlying principles and interconnections. Identify common student misconception. Develop strategies for clarity to deepen subject knowledge. The first step is to take up the core subject concept. We have found that students, when they start any topic, the students, they struggle in the beginning. Why? Because they are not able to connect the current topic to what they have studied before. It is not that it is hard, because they have actually missed certain blocks, connections in between. Now, I'll just take one example. Again, I'm taking an example. I'm assuming that most of the teachers that joined are mathematics teachers. We have made students understand addition of fractions. 1/2 plus 1/3. It's 5/6. Do you think that it's easy when they get the question as 2/3 plus 3/4? Or any like 3/5 minus 5/25, or 6/25? So where are we going wrong? We are not trying to make them understand how we need to take up the addition and the subtraction of fractions. When we have fractions, what is that we do? We take up, we need to have the denominators same. The term that we'll be using in the beginning is the LCM. That is the one which makes the denominators same. That is, they have common multiples. So we'll convert each fraction to that common multiple denominator. So we are converting each fraction to an equivalent fractions. and thus helping them to add. Anytime in the class, have you thought or have just try it out, especially in the middle class? See, multiplication fact. Multiplication is adding on, isn't it? So you are adding on. So when you give this question, just try it out in your class next time when you go. When you're multiplying half and 1/3, what answer do we get? 1/6. So it's 1/6. That means multiplication actually reduced the quantity. Half multiplied by 1/3 is 1/6, which says that the quantity has been reduced. So if child asks this question, how are you going to clear this concept? How will you help the child to take up this concept? That is, when half is multiplied by 1/3, 1/6 is obtained. So the child knows that 1/6 is a smaller part. How can this concept be clarified? Can anybody help me out? Can anybody help me out? See, you can give the example, any real life example to the children. You can take the help of whatever they like. In your class, what children like the most, you take up that as an example. For if eating, you can take it up as a cake part, a portion of a cake, a portion of pizza, anything. So the question is half, 1/3 of half. 1/3 of half means, suppose you are taking an example of an apple. You have divided the apple into half part. And then it is further divided into 3 parts. So won't that be a smaller part? So that's how we need to reinforce that, how we can build up our concept on what they have learned. The next is understand the psychology of maths. Math is not just cognitive, it is deeply emotional. Understanding how the brain learns and how fears can block it is the key. The maths brain, how we learn, explore basic insights into how the brain processes mathematical informations, highlighting its capacity for making connections and recognizing patterns. Understanding this helps us design teaching methods that align with natural cognitive process. Next is to cultivate a growth mindset in maths. Mathematical ability is developed through effort, not fixed at the birth. This is again something we very often hear in the class. I have heard in the class the parents saying, I am very good in maths, my child is not good in maths. Or the other way, I am not good in maths, so I think that's the reason why my child is also not performing. No, make them understand it's not something that they can inherit. It has to be developed through efforts. So we need to have an encouragement. We are the teacher's language, and encouragement plays a crucial role in fostering this belief. Finally, the power of praise, effective feedback. Effective praise builds resilience and a love for learning process itself. So we have to see that we are able to create that environment in the class which will definitely make them joyful and thus get this learning in an easier way. Next is okay. Explore innovative teaching techniques. Innovative methods of solving maths question encourage divergent thinking by allowing students to explore multiple pathways to a solution rather than relying on single standard method. Visual models, manipulatives, all these are ways to connect it to the real life situation and then take up the things. Now, this question I've in particular taken up from quadratic equation. This is a question which has literals, not numerals. Numerals, fine, we can manage to solve this by taking the help of the formula they have studied. But in this question, what do we observe? Don't you think that applying the formula will make it more complex? We have 2-3 ways of taking up the solving of this equation. One is splitting the middle term. One is applying the formula, making it a perfect square. So we have taught the class through these different ways. Now the children should be able to understand all the ways that has been discussed in the class, which way will give us the answer to this question easily and above all correctly and at the same time in shorter period of time. So this question, since it is not a question with coefficient numerals, it needs to be analyzed before solving it. So according to the analysis, what it says is, if you go for the formula method, things becomes complicated, try it out. If you go for the perfect square method, things again becomes complicated. So the only option that you're left with is splitting of the middle term. Now, splitting of the middle term means the coefficient of x that we have minus 2b should be such that when a square minus b square with the negative, that is minus of a square minus b square, when it is factored, should add up to minus 2b. I think you all can visualize this. So if we can make this understand to children, I think they will be taking things with any type of equation faster. So we need to understand that how many ways we can explain the question so that the child gets a practice to know that which way will finally be able to take up, so with gives them correct, accurate answer in short time with full marks. Next is an active engagement. Design the classroom in such a way that the classroom has some engaging activity. Promote hands-on exploration. Foster collaborative problem solving. All this can be done in the middle section frequently. Very often you can take up this in the middle section. And if these things are taken up in the middle section, that is 6 to 8, believe my words, we'll always be able to take up those students to a very higher level in mathematics. Our target, as we all heard very recently, last year also, our students, Indian students, they have scored gold medals. And it's after so many years, so consecutive years, we are really proud of having another. This year also we are having gold medals. So we should target for that for every year. So all teachers, those who are teaching in the middle classes, please try to have the designs in the classroom so that it engages every child. It helps the child to develop a thought process. Every child has their own limitation, but try to spark that, ignite that, so that we have every year more number of gold medals. Connect it to the real life situations. Now, geometrical questions, very easily we can connect it to real life situations. Other way is, whenever you go to the class, when you come out of the class, keep reminding the children to look around them. Even we need to see things around us and connect it to mathematics. So real life connection will definitely help the child to learn and understand the things. The practical application of geometry, building and construction, which we are very familiar with. We have a real life situation, geometry in real life, constructing water tank, surface area and volume of the tank. All this thing, we have many questions based on it. So the questions that we see in the book or we discuss very often are to construct the tank, which is either cylindrical, cuboidal, or not. These are the two shapes that we prefer. Now, why is that tank constructed? It has some purpose, that is, it is to hold some certain quantity of water. So why can't we create a question in it, like the surface area volume we have taught in that class? Now, what we need to give is a push beyond it. That is, a cuboidal tank, which is having dimension 11 by 7 by 6 cubic meter, and there is another cylindrical tank of radius 7 and height 2 meters. They have approximately the same value. Now, in questions, you must have seen very often in the textbooks also, very often we have seen in textbooks also, the question given is the volume of a cylinder is equal to the volume of a cuboid. Yes or no? Now, have you thought of the question? Is everything correct in that question? Haven't you thought how can a volume of cylinder and cuboidal be ever equal? Again, the question of irrational number comes in because we have pi in it. So pi is a very important number which we have to make clear at the level they start with, that is at the level 9, class 9. So that is the reason why I have written this approximately. Make sure that you also write question which says the fact. Whenever you take out things from anywhere, I first see whether it is authentic or not. Cuboid and cylinder can never have equal area, volumes, because of the fact that pi is along with it. Now the question that I've asked is which is cost effective in construction? That is, you can put this across the students, that there is some like some person wants to construct a cylindrical tank, and the other person wants to construct a cuboidal tank. This particular dimension is given so that you can have the values. Now, using these information, that is the dimensions, you can ask them to relate the surface areas, because that will help us to answer the question, which is cost effective. So from there, the child will be able to understand that though the volumes may be more or less same, but their surface areas are different. So if you have to make it cost effective, then it should have a lesser surface area. So such things should be connected to real life experience so that the child understands the relations and they are able to learn things of mathematics. Next comes learn to foster a positive math mindset. Your attitude should set the tone. Speak positively about the challenges. See, we all face challenges. If we run away from the challenge, we will not be able to grow. Tell them that's the learning opportunities that they have, not failures. Reflect on what went well in the class and how you handled tough situation. Very often we have come across complex questions. Discuss with the class repeatedly at repeated intervals so that they are able to connect the things. And then while discussing that, you can always put it across that what went well and how things are handled, how we are able to take up things in an easier way. So growth begins with awareness. By cultivating a positive mindset, we create a ripple effect that help in developing resilient, confident, and motivated learner. That should be our target. That should be our challenge, that whomever we are teaching, they should be able to be in life, they should be confident enough, and they should always be motivated to learn more. And finally, this differentiated instructions. Tailored teaching to diverse learning styles. Tailored teaching to diverse learning styles, that doesn't mean that we need to have for different students. We have to understand our class. And as per the class requirement, identify there may be some who will require special attention. There may be some who will be over enthusiastic. So club the two, manage to handle the two extremes. Those who are struggling, support them. Those who have understood, challenge with more things. Now, the question is, why practical application of mathematics matters? Making maths meaningful through real-life connection. When students see maths applies beyond textbook, they'll be able to become more motivated and engaged. Real-life context helps students develop problem-solving, critical thinking, and decision-making skills. Practical math encourages deep understanding rather than memorization. Now comes our role. The teacher as a facilitator. Shifting from the rote to reason. Now let's take a moment. Let's not talk about students. Let's talk about ourselves. What shift should we vision so that learning doesn't become monotonous? Learning should not be monotonous. We actually changing the system, that doesn't mean that we need to have the latest technology and all. No, we don't require that. We need to transform ourselves. We need to be a dynamic facilitators. We should not be a sage on the stage. Rather, we should be a guide by their side, so that we are guiding students all through their discoveries rather than giving them direct instruction. This will definitely cultivate independent thought and intrinsic motivation. Guiding explorations, encouraging dialogues, providing timely feedback, measuring their success will definitely nurture and make them confident and curious in mathematics. As facilitators, we need to shift from explaining everything to guiding the students through exploration. We should be asking more questions than we answer. Again, I have a question. We have always seen question like find LCM of this and this. That's how we give a question, isn't it? So we have connected LCM as in the form of multiples. That's it. Okay. Now, what if you reframe it and just ask a question? Find a number that divides evenly both 12 and 18. So isn't it a change in the language? So whenever you have any questions to be reframed, to be explained in different ways so that they're not directed to one type of question. Methods of taking up the question may be same, but please make sure that reframe of questions will help them to understand things clearly. Now, just one information I'm giving you. We have always stressed on finding LCM, HCF of natural numbers, isn't it? Have you come across LCM and HCF of fractions? It's fraction 2/3 and 3/4. We can find its HCF as well as LCM. Try it out. Please look for such informations so that we are also upgraded. We are able to give more information to our children, because for many years we have been talking about LCM of natural numbers. What if the numbers are fractions? What if the numbers are irrational? As I said, we have in the ninth, we start with number system, rational and irrational. They are two. This number system plays a very important role later on. So every aspect of this number system needs to be clarified. We have been talking about LCM, HCF. I think it is there from fourth or fifth onwards. Anyway, but sixth, seventh, eighth, we regularly use this word LCM, HCF. Have you thought of finding the LCM of fractions? Have you thought of finding the LCM of irrational numbers? So create such questions, look for answers of such questions so that we are able to guide the children to explore things and will be able to help them to give that confidence and curiosity. Finally, the most important thing, high scoring. Scores rise when students understand. When will this happen? When they are able to clear their concept. So prioritize clarity and thinking over formulae and shortcuts. Please make sure, do not let them take up any shortcuts. I very often tell the students about one example. Like most of our schools are multi-storied buildings. So I tell them, if you are on the second floor or on the third or in the first floor, if you want to come down, you have ways, 2, 3 ways. One way is to take the stairs. The other way, if the school has an elevator, that is, if the child is able to think beyond, school has an elevator connected to child is able to think beyond, can use the lift. The other option that they have that's happening around is jumping from that floor. So anybody and everybody who jumps from any floor should land safely on the ground is doubtful. I think everybody will agree. There'll be very few who will practice in such a way that they can jump from first floor or second floor to land safely on the ground. Not every child. So this very important example I very often give in my class. So that is what I said, formulae and shortcuts. Shortcuts are there. Let the child develop the way out. That is, the child should look for the lift or the elevator. We should not be, the natural way is going down the steps. If the child jumps the floor, then it's up to the child. So if you make this understand to the children, I think they will definitely understand how important is the solving of each step. And for board examination, we are all aware this step marking. So every step that they write will be awarded. So encourage them that way also. Sorry. So high scores are driven by conceptual clarity, not rote memorization, enabling learners to solve unfamiliar problems. Success in mathematics requires problem solving, and this I'll keep on repeating. It requires problem solving and critical thinking, not just procedural fluency. So when we come to the end, let's recap what we started with. Let's recap our journey, what we started with. We began with acknowledging the mathematics anxiety many students feel and how our traditional methods unknowingly they reinforce in it. We should look for a change to shift from speed and memorization to depth and reasoning. We addressed different misconceptions and barriers to maths learning. We explored different techniques to build conceptual clarity and confidence. Emphasized joyful, meaningful, and practical solution for mathematics education. We reimagined our own role as not as answer givers, but as facilitators. And the most important, we discussed how success isn't just marks, it is confidence, curiosity that is built up. So now, do we have any takeaways? I have identified certain key takeaways. Is this what you all also have taken up? Growth mindset and positive reinforcement empowers learners. Active engagement and real-life connection drive motivations. Effective teaching links concepts to prior knowledge. So what is our role? To facilitate discovery and exploration, not to just deliver it. Create safe spaces for mathematical thinking and questioning. Encourage resilience, curiosity, and collaboration. So, as teachers, do we think that we can bring in that energy, joy, empathy in our creative classroom? Do you think we can shape their mindsets and ignite mathematical minds in them? Thank you. That's all from my answer. Thank you, everyone, for patiently listening to what I said.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Participants, you can ask your questions to ma'am. She'll be able to guide you through. You can put it in the chat box or you can raise your hands. Miss Himani, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm very much there.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, dear participants, if you have any queries or if you would like to add on your comments, you may raise your hands virtually and we will ask you to unmute yourself and then you may have a conversation with our very esteemed resource person. Dear participants, kindly raise your hands. Parsa.
Was there any glitch in between? Because I could see some glitch from my side.
No, ma'am. It happened all seamlessly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Dear participants, if you have any queries, you may also post your questions in the chat box. We will read it out.
They can give their feedback as well.
Yes.
Have I stopped sharing?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Huh?
But
I
your
don't-
video is not on. You may switch on your video.
I'm trying. It is not.
No worries, ma'am. You're audible.
It's not working, I think. Or have you? At your end, switched off something done? It's
No,
not,
no, no.
I'm not, now it's there.
No, no.
Now it's there.
Dear participants, if you would like to ask any question, if you'd like to add on,
Oh, it has
if
gone.
you have any comment, you may speak to our esteemed resource person. Also, the certificate link is already in the meeting chat box. You may access it from there. And I think we have a lot of gratitude for you pouring in. We have one participant who wants to ask a question. I'll ask them to.
Yes, one.
SM, yeah, there is
Yes.
SM. Yeah, I think I have sent
Yes,
them a
ma'am.
request. Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you so much for your program. It was very nice. I'm the principal of a school in Chennai. So I have a doubt. I'm facing difficulty from the parents' side as well as the teacher's side. That is, maths concept is not understandable. Long back, it was 50-30% or less. Now 80% they're coming with not understanding. And the maths teachers are coming and telling us that we are teaching properly, and I have scrutinized them, the same techniques they are using, but some difficulties there. I can't understand where it is going wrong. Since facing the parent is very difficult, and they are telling if you are giving the model sums, we are working out one sum as a homework. Now they're coming and asking us, why can't you work out the homework sums also? Making us to work. So how can we balance the classwork and homework note? How as a teacher, how they can balance? This is my question, ma'am.
Sir, which class?
This
Is
is
it the middle? Because
especially
each
8th,
class,
9th, 10th, ma'am.
8.
And lower
This
classes
is
are none.
middle class, primary, middle class, and secondary has different approaches actually.
Yes,
In
ma'am.
the primary, things are like you're trying to take up abstract to concrete, isn't it? But when you come to middle, it goes back to abstract. So
Yes.
when it goes back to abstract, it is the symbols. This is what I said in the said during the session also. Representation, mathematics has a language and it has representation. So every teacher needs to make an effort to convert that symbols into a language which can be easily understood by the students.
Okay.
The most thing is, most of us, we have seen that in middle class, or so you have seen the new textbook, 6th class, 7th class textbook. Previous, for so many years, we have been having a textbook which says that there were exercises, questions on each exercises. So we were forced to take up those questions, and the students, they practice those questions many a times. So what is that is happening? They are actually repeatedly doing the same thing many times. That way they are memorizing the things.
Yes, ma'am.
But when you see the new textbook right from the 6th class, you'll find a change, total change. There's a paradigm shift. You'll not find any exercise.
Yes, ma'am.
So what does that say? We'll have to frame the question. There are few information that the children have to find, that is known as figure it out. That's given as figure it out. So that part is very few. The rest, the teacher and the student as a collaborator, we need to figure it out. How many more things can be added? How can the things be taken up? How can it be connected to real life so that the children are able to understand the concept that has been introduced, rather than helping them to do the same question many a times.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
The 9th class, that's the reason I say 9th class. We have been teaching for so many years. Many of them have been teaching, or those who have started teaching. The first chapter, very first chapter, number system, deals with rational and irrational numbers. Ever thought of creating a difference clearly between the two numbers? Because irrational numbers are one category of numbers, rational numbers are another category of numbers. We have pi, a very important number, which is very often used in computation. But when you use it as rational number. So don't you have questions from the class? So we have to frame things as per the need of the questions to understand the language which has to be represented, or the representation has to be taken up in the language.
Okay.
I
Most
hope I made it
often,
clear.
most
Yes, ma'am,
often what
I
happens
got the
is,
point. One thing is a maths teacher, for example, we are framing giving 4 classes for them or 3 classes, but they have to prepare a lot according to you. They have to want to take little effort comparing to the previous years. Am I right,
Yeah,
ma'am?
it's not
Yes.
little. They have to actually align the things with the real life situation. That's a paradigm shift that we are going to face now. And the
Okay.
competency-based question, that is very important,
Okay.
very, very important, which says that whatever is actually the question in the class book should not be taken up as such.
Okay.
So we have to reframe everything. As I given the example of LCM, of finding LCM of the two number, instead of asking a question of finding LCM, which has been coming from ages. Find the LCM of find the LCM of find the LCM. This is the
Yes.
ages question. Instead of that, why don't we have a number which can be divided this and that? That's how it should be asked.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
okay,
Yes.
Himaniya, let's wind up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Beena ma'am, for a truly enriching session. Your strategies, real world insights, and clarity of thought have empowered us to reimagine how we teach mathematics, not as a challenge, but as an opportunity to inspire curiosity and confidence. As we conclude this power packed session, I extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Abdul Salam and Mr. Biju S. Pillai for their leadership and constant encouragement, to Dr. Prakash for her invaluable sharing of knowledge and strategies, and to each one of you, dear participants, thank you for showing up with curiosity, purpose, and passion. Let us continue to evolve, empower not just our students' academic paths, but their entire journey of learning and life. Till we meet again in another meaningful session, stay inspired, stay impactful. Over to you, Salam, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Hemani. As usual, thanks a lot for your contribution.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Beena ma'am, thank you so much for giving us this many, takeaways. What was being observed was, as usual, maths teachers were very silent. Maybe because of the, usually we used to have very interactive sessions, but today maths teachers are very silently learning, very seriously learning. I think they could have interacted with Miss Beena.
Actually,
This is
we have a tendency, mathematics deals with question solving.
yeah.
Today it was all lecture based, so I think that was the reason.
This is actually what is happening in the classroom as well.
Yes,
The teacher, speaks and the students, write
just
down.
listen and sometimes dozes off. That's all.
Yeah. So let us make it, connected to real life. And most often students do not understand the question. That is where they fail because there is no connectivity. And it is time that we, avoided all the traditional approach of teaching maths. Students' involvement is required, as Madam has rightly said. Students should, come up solving the problems. We are not supposed to give the solution to the problems on the board. Let them try. Slowly we can build them up. So thank you so much, teachers, for joining, and thank you, Beena ma'am, once again for your very thoughtful insights on the strategies for making it very smart approach to teach maths. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Good night,
Thank you,
Biju
sir.
Good night.
All educators for
Thank you,
patiently
ma'am.
listening. Thank you.